Now, in the last part of this video, I would like to give a very brief introduction to the website developer tools, which I think is a very important tool for developing websites, especially when you came across with some errors, like if the HTML elements are not displayed as you wished, or if there's just some errors for loading the page. It's better to look into the website developer first, look into the tools first to see what's going on. And I find it difficult to show the usage only through the plain text or pictures on the slides. So I make these recordings. Thank you for taking the time watching it. First I'm going to show you what is it exactly, and then a few common features that we're going to use. It is a very powerful tool, so there are many more functions that helpful for website developments, but probably not very helpful for our work. So if you're interested in those work, advanced usage, you can. I'm sure there will be a lot of tutorial on the. I'm sure there will be a lot of tutorial online. You can search for it, and then I'll discuss a few cases that I actually met when writing the examples. So first, how to call out these developer tools. It is support for every modern browser. You can access it through the menu bar like this in Chrome. You can find it here, or in the edges. It's somewhere around here. Or you can use the shortcut F12 to quickly cut it all out. Then there's a multiple tab on here, each of them for functions. First is the elements, is the inspector of the HTML pages. In here, the HTML source code are displayed they're tidied up and displayed in a more structural way. See all these are collapsed, so you can see the skeleton of the pages very quickly. And if you want to look at a specific source code of the HTML element, use right click on that and inspect it. And if you helps you navigate to it, and if you want to make some slight modification, just type in, and you will get the feedback. And you don't need to worry about it will change the real website. It's just it's actually come from your local file, so it's sort of a just preview to your modification. And you can even make more modification like this if you delete the elements, or if you drag it to somewhere to see the changes to the layout. Well, see, we kind of messed up the pages. But if you cannot restore it, just refresh and we'll go back to the original pages. And on the right side, when your mouse hover on specific elements, you see they will be highlighted, and the blue areas indicates the real contents, the content space of elements, where its children elements and the text will display on this. And the green side is the padding, and the sort of orange area is the border of it. Also, if you click on this element in the center panel, it will show the box model. See, this is the contents and paddings, and there's a margin at the bottom. Is pretty transparent. And then for the CSS part, for every element, you see there will be multi-level CSS display over here. Some of them are probably here. The highest one, which also with the highest priority, is the inline CSS, and then some of the CSS from the Bootstrap, And there are also some of the inherited CSS that come from actually the father element of it. All the children will automatically inherit the father CSS format of father elements. I mentioned that in the tutorial, and that's why it's sort of cascading. And say this one. In the last part, in the second part about the solution to write the web page, I show you the changes to this to delete um the annoying blanks on the top of the car headers. So you can see we have our self-defined style CSS over here. If I click on it, it will also help you navigate to the source panel to see the real source code. Here's so when it comes, so we can see there's a self-defined over here, and if I use this to disable it, and the blank will appear again. Like I can also make a few modifications. I can change it even bigger. Right? I can also change over here to see, so that you can see which of the CSS roles are actually effective, while the others, you see, this is override, so you have a delete line above it. And then so this is the CSS format, and then in the console, you see, although this page seems to be in only in CSS and HTML, actually most of the pages they have JavaScript inside it to define its activity. Those actions, like if you change it, it will bring some changes over here of the pages. Some of them are supported by JavaScript, and there are also JavaScript inside the Bootstrap. So when these JavaScript are working, there will be maybe some output logs, or when they encounter some error, they will put the error information, the warnings, and trace back over here. So you can see the debug information over here. Also, if you're using writing JavaScript yourself, there could be also an instant preview to your JavaScript. Also, you can write some line of code over there. I speaking of this, when I writing examples of importing external files, the one here's the demo of it. It should be like this. And this part we use the Font Awesome library, which is a library that with a very large amount of beautiful icons. So I started with their official guide about how to use this library, and they only talk about I download the file and then add one CSS. So I do exactly the same in code. This is what I do it at first. The source plus style sheet make up to the file path. But actually this is wrong. I can show you what's going on. I can show the results of it. When I run this local example, the font does not display at all. So I don't know what's going on. So I use the developer tools. So you see, when I load the pages, it prompts me with 3 errors, saying there's some files missing. See, not found for 4. This seems to be sort of you see the .ttf files are actually the font file for defining a style of fonts. And they should be, and actually this is what the this CSS file is called other font files in here. And usually, well, the official guide does not mention it at all, because usually in a common web server, it will find the file by relative path. Very simple. But in here, I actually write something not correct over here. The HTML dependency, the source option, it defines a sort of CDN. It's actually the entire um, the folders to your dependency, the root directory to your dependency. And if defining like that, the Shiny will only maps the URL to these local files instead of the entire space. So when it look up by relative path, it will find actually the source will only be a relative path of this. There will be no mapping made by Shiny, so it cannot find these founds file. And then I change it into this. I define this to be the root directory. Then I reload the page. There you go. Then now the founds the icon appears now. So this is something, if I don't use the developer tool, I'll never know what's going on, because there's no the page random normally, and there's no problems in the reactivity of Shiny, so there won't be any output from the R console. I can only look it up in the console web developer tools. So that's why I strongly suggest you use it when for web design. And the source tab, you can see all the dependency. I'm using Font Awesome from the local page, and this is also this particle effects. You can see in the source code in the HTML file. I use these particle effects from another website, actually the CDN sites. So they'll be downloaded from this and show you a good. It shows you a structure of your entire sets. And here we can when I deploy this apps, I can restore it. It's when I refresh it, you see it's running pretty slow. And I wonder why it was slowed down. So the network tabs will actually help you. It will record every HTTP those network requests and their timelines, so that you can see where the bottleneck is. Remember, you got to always disable cache, but or otherwise, the modern browser have caches that help you load up help you display some of the widgets that you already accessed before. It will be cached, and the browser will help you load it more quickly. But in that case, we cannot make the profiling. So disable it and preserve log. Then I reload the pages again. You can see what it costs the most of the time to load. See, this is our plain HTML code. See what it highlights here. This takes a large amount of time, right? This is the JS file that probably comes from. I think it comes from Canvas. It comes from the particle effects or the font awesome. Seeing this also takes a large amount of time. See, this is the font file, so it's from Font Awesome, and the solution to it might be you imported from a CDN, means from other ones from a website that helps you accelerate, a website that stores all these resource file and provides access to other people's, and they have higher bandwidth. So if you put it into an external link rather than the local file, and when user open this page, it will load all of these dependency from other one's server instead of yours, and their servers probably have more bandwidth than yours. Then it will save time for loading the page. And when it comes to that, those are more fine grade profiling of your web page, and I don't think most of them are needed. So in a word, use these tools to debug whenever you find something incorrect with the website.